Look at almost any bustling commercial harbor along the American shoreline, and you'll find an ecosystem that relies heavily on one major player, West Marine. For decades, they've been the undisputed giant of marine retail, acting as a vital lifeline for boaters, anglers, and coastal communities alike. With a physical footprint of more than 240 stores stretching from coast to coast, they are the anchor of the marine supply chain. If you needed parts, gear, or emergency repairs to get back on the water, they were the default destination. But on May 17, 2026, the retail giant abruptly filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection, a legal process that allows a company to pause its debt payments while it attempts to reorganize. When a corporation files Chapter 11, we assume its coffers are dry and it can't pay bills. But court documents reveal an anomaly. Scrolling back 16 days on the timeline to May 1st, this supposedly broke company disbursed over $1 million in pure cash. If the corporate checking account was running on fumes, where did that final $1 million actually go? And more importantly, who is ultimately forced to foot the bill when a retail giant like this collapses? This chart shows where that $1.075 million cash injection landed, split among West Marine's top 5 executives. The lion's share went to the CEO, taking $425,000, and the CFO securing $225,000. This is on top of a $1.2 million payout handed to the former CEO. In the corporate world, these are categorized as retention bonuses. It's a legal mechanism companies use to incentivize key leadership to stay on board and guide the ship through a messy restructuring, rather than jumping to a competitor. However, the timeline is hard to ignore. These guaranteed 6-figure safety nets were distributed a mere 2 weeks before the company officially declared it couldn't pay its debts. While the company's hull was actively breaching, corporate leadership legally prioritized their own personal financial security before the water rushed in. But a marine retailer doesn't operate in a vacuum. To understand the true cost of this collapse, we have to look at the other side of the bankruptcy ledger, the network of independent suppliers who actually kept West Marine's shelves stocked. Opposite the $1 million executive payout, there is a crushing $65 million owed to West Marine's top 30 vendors alone. Behind those massive numbers are micro-impacts on local businesses. Take David Kelton, the owner of American Blue Claw LLC. His company builds the stacks of wire crab traps and buoys that you see right here. Kelton shipped his physical inventory to West Marine in good faith, only to find himself trapped in the legal void of bankruptcy court, currently owed approximately $12,000 for products that are already out the door. Following a recent bankruptcy hearing, Kelton publicly challenged the executives, directly asking if anyone in that top tier would be willing to give up a portion of their massive bonuses to help the bottom tier of suppliers survive. The $1 million guaranteed safety of a few executives was directly subsidized by dealing life-threatening financial blows to the small business suppliers who built their inventory. If we move our timeline forward to June 1st, the abstract financial figures start translating into physical losses for local communities. This map tracks the company's footprint. Following a court-approved closure list, 59 locations across 23 states are slated for immediate liquidation. The deepest cuts hit major American voting hubs. Watch the clusters disappear in Florida, which loses 8 stores, and Michigan, which loses 6. And the bleeding might not stop there. The consulting agreement with the liquidation firm Hilco suggests this map reduction could ultimately scale up to 95 total store closures. Chapter 11 restructuring is often discussed as a neat spreadsheet reset, but on the ground, it is the rapid physical dismantling of a nationwide maritime network. For certain regions, this means total abandonment. Look at communities with deep maritime traditions, like the state of Maine. Maine is losing both of its West Marine locations in Portland and Southwest Harbor. This entirely strips the state of its anchor marine retailer, leaving local boaters stranded in a sudden retail desert. Look back at the events of a single 30-day window. Millions of dollars flowed seamlessly into the pockets of corporate leadership, while tens of millions in debt were locked away from vendors, and dozens of community hubs were permanently erased. In a major retail collapse, reorganization rarely means shared sacrifice. Instead, it is often a rapid transfer of security, ensuring the top tier gets paid, while small vendors and local communities are forced to absorb the total loss.